Welcome to Donuts Design and Debate, the only online design podcast that allows us to debate the merits of certain designs. I'm your host, Aaron. In just a few minutes, I'm going to bring up Matt Robison and our special guest, Sandra, to debate the merits of hardwood flooring. The way this is going to go is we're going to bring them on, and they're going to actually have their own opinions, and they're going to throw them at each other. Then, what we're going to do is, with our live online audience, we're actually going to vote on how good a design hardwood flooring is. These will be voted upon against our 5 principles of design. Is the design useful? Does the design have aesthetic appeal? Is the design simple? Is the design environmentally friendly? And does the design feel honest? So we're going to get that started in a few minutes. Before that, I do want to just fill you guys in a little bit on what they're going to be debating. So our topic, like I said, is hardwood flooring. And this is one that I feel like I don't have to dive in too far because most people understand or have seen hardwood flooring, have an idea of what it is. But just to give you a rundown and some hot points in the life of hardwood flooring. Hardwood flooring has been around since houses have been around, maybe before. Initially, hardwood floorings were actually just the floorboards that made up the floor. Back in colonial times in America, these were wood planks that were just cut out of felled trees. So just big chunks of wood that just ran the length of the room or the length of the building, and that was your floor. In the 18th century, a little more refinement came in. This is when, started making the floors look nice, maybe spend a little time more, not machining, but making the wood look better, fit better together, and painting the floors. So we still had these nice wood floors, but we were looking for a better way to do it and started painting. 19th century brought some changes to how houses were made, and because of a thing called the power loom, things like carpets could be created quicker, easier. Before that, it was like things like rugs, but carpets started to become available. It wasn't widespread at that point, but it started covering up hardwood floors. Industrial Revolution made a big step forward in hardwood flooring because with the Industrial Revolution, we had the ability to manufacture hardwood rather than manually cutting pieces of wood up, and the idea of tongue and groove, where multiple pieces of wood could be connected together to create an interlocking floor, that became a much bigger deal when that happened. Later on, 19th century, that's when we kind of got what we would consider now the modern hardwood floor that we have available to us. Hardwood floors kind of always been an option. Like I said, it was the standard for a long time, and then it just kind of became a way to capture that same look that we originally had to have in our houses. Recently, though, it's become one option of many. People have a lot of options, different materials as they come available, become more popular in the flooring. And then kind of hardwood flooring comes back in and out of fashion. So there's a lot of pros, there's a lot of cons to hardwood flooring, which is what makes it a perfect topic for our podcast. And I know 2 people have very, very strong opinions that want to talk about this specific podcast or the specific topic. So I'm going to bring on both Sandra and Matt right now. All right. Sandra and Matt, welcome to the podcast, guys.
Oh, hello.
Hey, so we are going to get into this. We're going to be debating the merits, the pros and the cons of hardwood flooring. But before we do that, I want to introduce Sandra. Sandra Chavez is an interior designer, and she's going to be joining us today. Thanks for joining us, Sandra.
Yeah, it is. I'm honored to be on here with you guys and debate hardwood flooring.
It's going to be good. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what it is you do, and why your opinion is so much more important than Matt's?
Yeah, so I am an interior designer. I am the owner and creative director of Sandra Jessica Interiors, my design firm. Design has always been my thing as a child, so I went to college and I studied interior design, got my bachelor's, and since then I've been in the field for over 9 years. So I've ranged from like major commercial work to high-end residential, and just very passionate about design and materials and making sure that I create spaces that make people feel energized and inspired.
That's so cool. And again, I don't want to. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give it away now. Sandra's going to argue the pro of this, and I just got to ask because relevant. In your work, do you regularly specify or call out or suggest hardwood flooring?
You know, it actually really depends on the client's lifestyle and the long term, what they're thinking long term. Like if they're just gonna live in the house for just a few years, sometimes they go like engineered or vinyl, or sometimes they really want to invest it and they don't really care about anything else. They want hardwood flooring because you just cannot be like how elegant it is. So it just really depends on the client's like situation and their lifestyle ultimately.
Awesome.
Well, great. Like a true designer.
I like it. Yeah, that's defer. Oh, well, the customer's always right. Even when they're wrong, they're still right, right? That's right. Great. So I think we should get this thing going. So the way it's going to go, Sandra is the pro, so she's going to go first. She's going to take about 5 minutes to tell you guys why hardwood flooring is good design. Following that, Matt's going to come on and tell you why it's not good design. And then after that, this is when our live audience will join in and they will actually help us vote and let us decide once and for all, is hardwood flooring good design? With that, I'm going to step out of the way. Take it away, Sandra, and talk soon.
All right. Okay. So I want to highlight 3 top qualities that hardwood floor has. And I want you guys to remember this, and that's simplicity, longevity, and timeless. You can never ever go wrong when choosing this material. First of all, there's so many colors, stains, shapes, and sizes that you can get in hardwood. So because there's so many options, it makes it very adaptable to any design style and very versatile. And just to kind of touch on that, on the longevity, if you take good care of your hardwood floorings, they can last you over 100 years. And I'm pretty sure you guys might know the lifespan of laminate, carpet, or vinyl, which is not as close to that. So if you really think about it, hardwood flooring could actually help you save money in the long run, because I know that refinishing and resanding sounds way better than replacing your entire floors in your house. And you can also like revamp the look of your space just by changing the color and make it, give it a little bit of refresh. And I also want to touch on like how timeless it is. You can never ever go wrong with this material. It's been around since probably 1600s, 1700s, and it's still being used to this day. So when you go and choose hardwood flooring, you can be sure that it's never going to go out of style. And this material just adds so much character, and it also is very elegant to add a touch to your home. So yeah, I just want to remind you guys that how simple it is. Just by refinishing and resanding it, the longevity is going to last you many, many years, and how timeless it is.
All right, thank you very much. That's a excellent intro, and I'm going to pass it over to Matt now, who's going to tell us the opposite of everything Sandra just said.
That's 100% correct. And I'm going to start with a question for not only the chat, but also Sandra here. I personally think that designs for the home should be centered around people, and should they not also make people happy and healthy, Sandra?
Yes.
Yeah. If you're healthy, you are happy. So I've created a little listicle here, the top 5 healths that suffer from hardwood flooring. Okay, top 5 healths that suffer from hardwood flooring. Number 1, physical health. Hardwood floors are hard on your joints when you're walking around on your hips and your ankles. It's hard. Or if you're playing with kids, you're crawling around. It's not like carpet where you have a nice soft, something to support you there. It's just very hard and it hurts. It's bad for your physical health. You can slip and fall. You're going to be wearing socks. The floor is so hard and cold that you have to wear socks. But then that introduces a slipping hazard, which is bad for your physical health. When you put the finish on it, that can be very smelly, and when bad for inhale, bad for your respiratory health. So perhaps you might open the windows in order to breathe better. Boom, you've got dust on your finish, and that's a bad look. Okay, top 5 healths. Number 2, mental health. Hardwood flooring, very bad for your mental health because every step you take, every move you make, there's creak on the hardwood floor, creaking. And you might get used to it, but over time, this relentless creaking is just going to take a toll on your mental health. There's endless upkeep. It's bad for your mental health. So as soon as you're done sweeping the floors, you got to go back and start again because every little speck of dust and dirt shows up. Bad for your mental health. It feels like a Sisyphean feat of keeping those floors looking clean. And also, you might think, oh, what improves your mental health? Like, oh, a pet could be good for your mental health, but hardwood floors are bad for pets. They're sliding all over. They're scratching them with their little claws. And, they don't like laying on the cold hardwood floor, so they're going to be up on your couch. They're going to ruin that couch. And that's bad for your mental health. Number 3, financial health. Hardwood flooring is so bad for financial health. The material is more expensive than luxury vinyl planks, which I'm familiar with, LVPs, of course. 2 to 3 times more expensive than those. Not to mention the extra expense of installation. If you don't install it correctly, you're going to have big time problems, and you want to make sure it's installed right, which means got to pay the big bucks. And also, if it breaks, it's more expensive to fix. So that's financial health. It's taking a toll, folks. Okay, number 4 of bad healths, social healths. It's bad for your social health. I have a quote here from the National Wood Flooring Association. They said, quote, "A 125-pound woman walking in high heels with an exposed heel nail can exert up to 8,000 pounds per square inch. Folks, this is going to dent your floors. This is going to scrape your hardwood floors up. Forget a dinner party, okay? Forget having a play date after soccer practice with kids walking in on their cleats and scuffing up your floor. You are going to be pushing everyone away. They're not going to want to come to your house. Bad for your social health. Not to mention, you also have a lot of dirt and dust, like I mentioned, on the floor. Not to say you shouldn't clean your floors, but there's just so much more you can see on a hardwood floor. So people, if you do get people to come over to your house, then they're going to see all these dust bunnies flying across the floor like tumbleweeds, and they're going to think, ew, this person's dirty, bad for your social health. And of course, number 5, the health that is bad from hardwood flooring is environmental health. These trees take over 100 years to grow. And although actions have been taken to make the practice of getting this lumber more sustainable, there are still legal gray areas, and there are improvements that need to be made on enforcement. Oh, bonus! Number 6, spiritual health. It's bad for your spiritual health because it's so cold. It's so echoey. And just like the termites that'll be nibbling on your floor, it's going to be slowly eating away at you day by day. And you're left spending time pondering, how could a higher power take something so beautiful as a tree and then turn it into something so cruel as a hardwood floor? You hear stories of people pulling up their carpet and they reveal an old hardwood floor, and it's like, why would anybody cover this up? Maybe they weren't just dumb. They didn't have bad design tastes. Maybe they just got too sick and tired of hardwood flooring. The defense rests.
Wow. Well,
get your camera back up here.
I just want to give Matt just a nod for working Sisyphus into his opening arguments. That was unexpected, and a little Greek history there, I guess.
Dropping all kinds of knowledge on you guys today.
All right, well, Sandra, I got to ask you. Obviously, there are some points there that you probably have a note or two to throw back in Matt's face. So what do you got? Would you like to rebuke some of that?
So I'm trying to remember. The squeaking, actually, that can be avoided. It's all dependent on how it's being installed. So you have to make sure that your installer glues and screws the hardwood flooring that way that it avoids the squeaking over time. It just has to be very properly installed to avoid that. So I know older houses probably squeak more. That's probably because installation was way different back then than what it is now. The other thing I want to know is the noise, actually. So hardwood flooring is used in like many different locations, and it's used in different ways. So have you noticed hardwood flooring being used in music studios and dance classes and gyms? So it actually is helpful and used to reduce noise and vibrations. So it does kind of mitigates all that stuff.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Well, one thing you said was about the timelessness of hardwood flooring, and I agree if you have the right material, but part of the draw of hardwood is that you can select whatever kind you want. And I saw this article talking about gray hardwood floors and how they're a design crime and not timeless. So that's not timeless, according to this person that I read a blog on.
I've never heard of people using gray hardwood floors. So I think it's very little people choosing that color. That's not what I have seen in the field. It's mostly like warmer wood tones or like an oak finish. But I have not seen gray.
I guess that's a beauty in the eyes of the beholder situation right there, where maybe somebody likes gray. I don't know. It could be.
The beauty of gray wood.
I was just gonna say we're not here to judge, but that's literally what we're doing here. So, yeah, get opinionated and judge that. I guess that's what we do here. Excellent.
All right. Yeah, that's all I got for rebuttals.
All right. Well, with that, we are going to hop into the voting. So if you are joining us live online here, what's going to happen here is we're going to dive into each of the 5 principles of design that we have established here on Donuts Design and Debate. And what we need you to do is, as each one comes up, listen to the points made by both of our debaters and vote if hardwood flooring satisfies that specific design principle or not. So I mean, a lot of you guys probably have some preconceived notions. It's great, but I would ask that you listen to what both of our guests here have to say and then cast your vote. So down at the bottom of the screen, little thing's going to pop up. A poll is going to pop up as we do each of these. Please vote, because you're the one who helps us decide. You're the ones who get to get judgy right now. So with that, let's go ahead and start. Our first principle design is, are hardwood floors useful? And Sandra, you're going to go first. Give us a minute or two about why hardwood flooring is useful design.
Yes, it is useful. Like I mentioned, you can use it almost everywhere. Depending, it's a factor on bathrooms. But like I mentioned before, it's so useful because it can absorb sound and help with acoustics, which is why you see it in like gym and music studios. And the constant appearance, or the consistent appearance and durability, is one of the reasons why it lasts for so many years without needing to be replaced, which is why it makes it so useful. Like, you can't go wrong with this material or replace it within like a few years.
All right, yeah, that's useful from a certain point of view, of course, but you sort of mentioned bathrooms or kitchens or other places that have more more moisture. They're are not very good for hardwood floors. Don't like the moisture, so I think it's useful as far as it keeps you up off the ground, but there's other things that maybe don't have the drawbacks of hardwood floors that would be more useful as a floor in those specific situations. That I think it's not useful at all. Vote no, thank you.
All right. Well, unfortunately, Matt, the audience did not agree with you, and we did get a donut there. Hardwood floorings are useful according to our audience. Nice one donut. All right. This brings us to our second principle. Does this design have aesthetic appeal? Matt, you go first. Tell us why hardwood floors is not aesthetically appealing.
Okay, maybe on the day it's installed, it's aesthetic, but there's so many things that can go wrong with hardwood floors. Buckling, warping, cupping, peeling, polyurethane droplets exposing as the material expands and pushes it up. It can get stained easily. We like natural light, don't we? But hardwood flooring is more susceptible to sun discoloration. So I have a stat here for you folks. In the U.S. alone, there's over $1 billion in hardwood flooring damage each year. And so I think it's hard to upkeep, and so it's not aesthetic after life happens to it.
All right, Sandra, what do you got to say about this?
All right, so People love the aged and patina look that hardwood gets over time. It's just like marble. Over time, it just ages very gracefully if you take good care of it and install correctly. And it has aesthetic appeal because it adds such an elegance to your home and adapts to any style. You don't get that factory pattern where you would get with other types of flooring. With hardwood, you get the real deal, that nice, beautiful swirls and the graining that adds so much character to your home. And it just kind of, over time, the hardwood kind of gets lived in, which is like, it gives it that character and that homey feel.
All right. Well, once again, Sandra has swung the audience, and hardwood flooring gets its second donut.
Getting crushed over here. I haven't even one vote yet. Okay.
All right, Matt.
Coming back.
This one may swing back your way, Matt. And Sandra's gonna go first, so you prep your argument now. Sandra, is hardwood flooring simple?
Yes, it is simple, because if you think about it this way, you want to change your flooring. It's so much simpler to resand and refinish than replacing all of your flooring that you have existing. And if you buy a house that already has hardwood flooring, again, you just resand and refinish. You don't have to worry about taking the flooring out and paying for labor and installing and all that stuff that comes with installing flooring. And it's simple in maintenance. Believe it or not, it's really easy to maintain and clean. You just have to take the dust out, vacuum or do something, and then you use a damp microfiber cloth, mop or cloth, and you just kind of clean the hardwood floors. Very easy to maintain. And I can say that because my parents' house has hardwood flooring, and my mom cleans it very easily, and it's still very beautiful.
I don't believe it. I do not believe it. I don't buy it. It's very hard. It's complex to, first of all, pick the right wood. There's a lot of places you can go wrong there. You have to acclimate this wood. You have to prepare the subfloor, put moisture proofing in, account for the proper gaps in between all the little boards based on the heat and humidity in the environment. Look, the alternatives, you just put it down. That's simple. And it's easier to clean too, even if it is relatively, as you supposedly say, is easy to clean. Like this vinyl stuff, much easier to clean, and if you get a spill on it, it doesn't ruin the entire floor. Much more simple to have a non-hardwood floor. So it's just not simple. I mean, there's nothing more to say.
Can I add one thing?
Oh,
sure.
The guest is always right, I've heard, so I guess so.
So fixing it is much more simpler than other floors you would have to fix, because on hardwood, you resand and refinish. That's it. When you scratch laminate, that you probably have that scratch on there for life. There's really no fixing it. With engineered, you can only resand and refinish for so much. And sometimes you just have to take the whole tile out and fix that piece. So I think that fixing it is so much simpler than the others.
But if the board gets warped due to water damage, then you have to replace the entire board. And if a stain gets through the finish and into the actual wood, then you're stuck replacing an entire board, which is complex and therefore not simple. Come on, voters.
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to give a 3, 2, 1 to vote, and one more donut for hardwood floors.
Whew.
Three out of 3 so far.
Congrats.
All right, 2 points left. Matt, you're going to start this one. Are hardwood floors environmentally friendly?
Thanks. And I see I garnered some votes on the last category. So please, people from that support me, come out and flock and cast your vote or die. As far as environmental goes, look, there has been some amendments to the Lacey Act in the U.S. that helped some sustainability within the United States, although the loose mens rea standards, which of course I know very well, which means knowingly engaging in illegal activities, that's sort of a gray area within the amendment, has stopped businesses from facing felony charges for that. what that means is that it's a little bit. There's room to get better on environmental. It's better than it was, but it's not as good as it could be. Enforcement's still an issue, and you have to essentially trust foreign governments to do their due diligence and make sure that this wood is grown sustainably, which I personally don't.
All right, Sandra.
Okay, so I say it is environmentally friendly because if you were to throw away hardwood flooring, it is biodegradable and can be burned for fuel. And sometimes they take that waste to produce other products or paper. Whereas laminate vinyl and probably carpet, it's not biodegradable. So when that is sent to the waste facility, it just sits there and taking up space, and it's bad for the environment.
All right. Well, that is another donut for the pro.
Jeez. Bring the experience here. I'm getting
4 out of 4. We're staring down the barrel of another perfect score here. Sandra, you're going to be able to take this last one home. Does hardwood flooring feel honest?
It is honest because, again, it's timeless beauty, and it's designed to last for many decades. People will pay more money for a house that already has hardwood flooring. And when choosing stains, there are stains that are a little bit more environmental friendly and don't give off off-gassing as much as like laminate or vinyl. So it's honest to its beauty, the longevity, and the simplicity.
I mean, frankly, look, we're talking about design here. We're talking about design for experience. It's going to be used by people every day, and it's dishonest because although hardwood flooring might look attractive in a photo on Pinterest or something, the day-to-day use of it is bad for your joints. It's bad for, the dirt that accumulates. The experience to live in there is frankly just not the same as the honest pictures, the depictions that you see online. So this perhaps one of the most dishonest things in all of existence, and I think you should vote no. And if you have voted yes, don't worry, you can still change your vote back to no right now, please.
Well, I'm afraid I have to declare a sweep here. Hardwood floorings.
Hey, I got one.
Unanimously agreed to be good design. Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you, and congratulations, Sandra.
Nice work. Woo. Bringing the expertise.
Man, that was
embarrassed out here.
That was hard hitting right there.
You did good, Matt.
Thank you. I appreciate it. At least one person thinks so.
That's something. You had a couple votes in there, so it wasn't a total shutout. It's not like not nothing.
Pretty close.
Oh, well, yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Sandra. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for bringing us your knowledge, your experience, and your convincing arguments.
Thank you. And one last parting thing we'll say here is, Sandra, is there any place that people can find you or your business online?
Yes. So you can find me on my Instagram, Sandra Jessica Interiors. My website is Sandra Jessica Interiors. So I have Facebook as well. So if you have Facebook, you can like my page. Instagram, website. I think that's about it. House
nice.
Profile too.
That's awesome. Yeah, people check it out. She does great work and great SketchUp work as well. So
thank you.
Yeah, good place to look for design inspiration. Yeah, and Aaron, take us away.
Thank you for those of you who joined us. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for voting. And if you're listening to this recorded and would love to be part of the actual voting experience, we do this every couple of weeks, and you can join us live in Crowdcast and cast your vote as well. But for now, we're going to wrap this up. So on behalf of Matt, Sandra, and our entire team here at Donuts Design Debate, I want to say thank you very much, and we will see you next time.
This has been a Trimble Media production. Thanks for listening to Donuts, Design, and Debate. If you have an opinion about this topic today, or if you have an idea for a future debate, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email at donuts@trimble.com. Hey, and if you got an interior designer friend who you think would enjoy this show, go ahead and share it with them. Thanks again for tuning in, and take care.